Well, hello again, you guys. I'm just going to be talking to you guys about something that I've had a finding on in the past, something that I've truly believed in, and I believe that the Lord's letting it come to light at this point. Pretty much, I had a bit of a suspicion that it's possible that the indigenous people might be the true Israelites and that America might just be the ancient world. Why do I suspect this? There's many reasons. There's many reasons. Besides my absolute gut feeling and what I believe that the Holy Spirit is showing me and pretty much gets confirmed every single day. Yeah, besides that, it's just like all the lies and all the contradictions and the things that just simply do not add up. So, just to go on a small rant, basically, I talked about in previous videos how I'm very suspicious of George Washington, and just how that came about. It's just very suspicious. It doesn't really go into his childhood much. I think that it's extremely just not logical whatsoever that he was born in America and he's an American. It makes no logical sense, honestly, to me, within a timeline. And then the fact that Columbus came over and everything was erased prior than Columbus also has me thrown for a loop. Also, the Mayan calendar, and the Aztecs, how, everyone reverts back to those because they were just so accurate. I don't believe that Americans came and they made those people better. I think that they came and they trampled their land and they took everything that they had and bribed some and gave others garbage to live in. I also have just newly a suspicion of the Bering Sea. Basically, what I have been studying recently about the Bering Sea is that there's a possibility that it was connected at one point to Russia, up by Alaska and Russia. Also, there's a Bermuda Triangle there. There's a Bermuda Triangle near Florida. And that things are just, they're finding new ancient just archaeological finds very recently and very often. I don't know if you guys have seen this one video. I don't know if I have it ready, but they actually found tablets with the Ten Commandments written on it in ancient Hebrew. This new Hebrew is not the true Hebrew. And there, to speak in behalf of like Jewish people and the lies and the way that it's been just completely and utterly twisted. I'm going to be talking about all the above today. I'm just going to be showing you just tidbits of what the Lord showed me. And I was watching just, all the finds that were found in America as far as we're talking about like dating back to possibly 9 million to 55 million years ago in America. And when I say America, this is North America, the Mid America, which is, the United States, and South America. Okay? This whole region here. So basically, I'm trying to just kind of get everything in there, trying to get it all summed up. But before I start that, I started looking into mythology and I started looking into basically just what's been found, in regards to what's the oldest thing found thus far. And it seems like South America, I don't remember if it was North America or South America, predates any other place in the world. Not only that, but there's land masses and buildings and architecture that has withstood the just time. I don't know what to tell you. It's dated back even further than Egypt. Now I want to talk to you guys about how this all kind of connects, but I found one video that pretty much sums up everything and connects all of these dots, just in a different way. It's so funny how God can talk to one person and talk to another person. I also spoke about Freemasonry, so I'm skeptical of Washington because he was the first Freemason. Okay, nothing that man has done has added up. It talks about him being in the East, but he's very prominent in the West. I also have a suspicion of California, as I've said, or lower than California, which is proving to be right. And what else? What else can I sum up? Yeah, these are just my suspicions. And now I'm on this basically from Wales to, can't pronounce the name of Russia, but the at the tip. But basically, yeah, everything is just right there. You know, they talk about the Ice Age and how everything was frozen, and the oldest archaeological finds are in America, especially in Alaska and like North America. You know, it just doesn't stop. And how and the woolly mammoth was found there, and they freely just walked wherever they wanted to go, because everything was frozen. So, okay, let me get into this. So first I want to start off with some messages that the Lord has been laying on my heart, pretty crazy, like left and right. I feel like I can't get it out as fast as I receive it. So I'm just going to try to kind of sum it all up in this video as well. So some of these things have been words from the Lord. Some of them have just, like, he's just spoken it to me in some way, or I've read it in the Bible, or what. It was prominent, and it was urgent. And some of these things are numbers. So I told you guys that the Lord has been speaking to me in doubles. He's been telling me things about two double twins. Okay, and this is showing up every day. Every time I look at the time, look, 11:44. I kid you not. Look at this. Do you see this? Do you see this? 11:44. Now I have to write that down. And now you see that I'm not lying. You can see that I'm not lying. I promise you guys. So this is what's going on right now in my life. I don't know why this keeps happening to me. But the Lord is telling me things with these duplicate numbers. All right, so let's get into this. So God has told me about, he said that there's going to be clarity to the things that have been hidden. Okay, so he said that darkness is going to come to light now. And it said that it was declared. So it's going to happen imminently. 2, God has been putting on my mind folly and evil. That's every single Bible verse that I come across talks about how just hell is rising, and evil and demonic and evil darkness. Like every just Bible verse that pops up, like it's crazy. 3, God has said imprisonment and binding. Okay, imprisonment and binding. Now this was a number, and this was 633. Mostly the numbers are probably going to be duplicate numbers. Next, so one thing that he keeps telling me over and over is about harvest, about how he's going to pluck us from the earth, about ascending, about winter harvest. And then today I actually got a word of eating, which was the number 1033. And also another thing that I've been getting is washing, or washing off, or washing, like just to clean it. And that was 7857 was the number. If you want to, this is to look it up in Strong's Concordance. Okay. Under basically the number helps you to learn the word of Hebrew or Greek. So basically, yeah, so I got so with the washing off, I kind of had an epiphany, like Jesus is washing, or God is washing off maybe his food before he eats it. Like maybe he's making sure that his people are like right. You know what I mean? Because he talks about harvest and eating the fruit, so that we are the fruit somehow. It makes sense, but it doesn't. You know, we're simple minded. So the next one, I talked to you guys about Alexandria. I got this Bible verse about Stephen and the synagogue and whatever. And then I saw a number shortly after that, and it was 222. Looked it up, and it said Alexandrian. If you guys don't know, this was the Alexandria, Egypt that I spoke about. I haven't put out the video yet, but basically in Egypt, Alexandria, Egypt, this is where the library first began for the quest of knowledge. And people would, it was basically like the beginning of an ancient university. They would collect all the books that they could in order to have as much knowledge as they could to try to ascend higher than God. They tried to just do very evil things, which ended up with they were trying to perfect the body. They were trying to make themselves immortal at the end. That was the end result of that. So God ended up having that place burned down. And then building the temple. So I don't remember the number for this one, but it's been just a series. It just keeps coming, like, you know. And every time I look, and it'll be like, God, Jesus is building the temple. He talks about the all the gems that build up the temple, and the pillars and the stones, and he just talks about the measurements, like constantly, like he's building the temple right now. He's building his temple. And last but not least, no, definitely not least, the number, I don't remember how I got this number, but 2424 just literally means Jesus. It means Jesus. It means the Savior. So if you want to look those up. Now, last but not least, just going back on the evil, the darkness, and all these things. So we were driving today, and we're in Tokyo. We were driving, and someone had a license plate number 666 on it. And I mean, God has just been showing me left and right. Like, I'm just seeing these things, you know. And I see 666, and I go to try to take a picture of the car, and my phone will not focus on the picture. And not only does it say 666, but I mean, these are Japanese cars, and there's another symbol next to it. It's obviously a Japanese calligraphy. So it's gonna, I don't know anything about calligraphy. I can't read it, nothing. But this is what it looked like. So I thought that was very strange. Now, I do have the blurred picture, and I will post it at the end of the video. I have no idea why my camera wouldn't focus, like nothing. But I got what I could, and I'll try to filter it to see if I can get a better read on it. So let me begin showing you what has been shown to me, and then I'm going to post a video linked below that's going to show you guys how this man connected all these dots, okay? Freemasonry is basically, when you start to look into, if you haven't seen my George Washington videos, just please watch it, because then you'll understand. But basically, every single thing that this man aspired to set up has been inverted pentagrams. There's also a video that I haven't watched yet that basically is supposedly the oldest Asherah pole in New York. Is the oldest, like, in history. So basically everything that has been built was based on his orders and his prophecy, because he had a prophecy, okay? And he said, if you follow this accordingly, then this is how this is gonna go, and we're gonna make it through. Basically, he was like a god to them. They wanted to make him a king, and he ended up not, like, it's nauseating, you know. He says that he doesn't want to be a king and blah, 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 blah. All I know is that how is slavery 400 years old, but he was only a president like 280 years ago, something like that? It doesn't add up. Nothing adds up. And the fact that he just happened to be born in America, and they were so established that they had the nicest house in Virginia, so on and so forth and whatnot. He wanted to build a nation of Americans, basically we were a rebellion. I already have this in another video. It was a rebellion against God, and he said that he was going to make one nation under God, but he never said who that God was. He talks about divinity. He doesn't talk about Jesus Christ and the blood that he shed and the anointing that is in his blood. He never said that. So let's go in here, okay? So basically, to start off with, let's just go ahead and we're gonna go into symbolism, because symbolism is literally everything with Freemasons, okay? So this is the Lyra constellation, okay? Now, the Lord has been talking to me about constellations and numbers and things of that nature. Now, just a quick, I have to do it. For all the Christians out there or followers of Christ who think that numbers and constellations are bad, they're not. The reason why I say this is because I was always scared of it. I never messed with it because I just thought it was evil and I was in the darkness about it. But the Lord said that knowledge is going to increase. Let's think about this. If math is so bad, then we need to repent for going to school. Okay? We have studied math for a long time. And if you went to college, you've done half of your life studying math, okay? So math is not evil. God sees our intentions, and the Lord is revealing things for a reason. He wanted to kind of keep us in the dark for a little bit because we didn't take the knowledge of the devil. That is why we are innocent, okay? Now the Lord and the Holy Spirit within us is now starting to make things come to light. And like I said, the Lord said that clarity was going to be imminent. He made a declaration of it. And this is what's happening right now. People are waking up. People are starting to understand that why does a white man have a Egyptian pyramid on his dollar? Like, it's time to just wake up and see what doesn't make sense. Okay? So, and let's talk about the moon and stars in the sky and everything like that, okay? So basically, the Lord placed the moon, the stars, and the sun and the sky in the sky to tell the seasons, the months, the days, the years. He tells us that this is the purpose of these things, okay? Now, he does get on the star watchers because the star watchers are up to no good, okay? They're up to no good. Now, sorry about that. I don't know why they do that. So we're going to be going here and we're going to be reading a little bit. Basically, interesting. I want to get into mythology, but I'll do that on another video. Because there's some truth in everything. You know what I mean? And don't you think it's kind of strange that Christians are the only ones that don't know these stories? Every single culture has its own story. America is the most suppressed, the most oppressed in all of the world. They're just blind. All right, so we're going to go here. Basically, the Lyra, there's a lot of doubles in it as well. If you want, you can read it on your own time. I'm not interested in the whole story with the gods because I don't understand it. But I am starting to see some common denominators here, but I'll go into it on my own time. But basically, also another thing I've been talking about, I don't know if I said this already, but was the Bering Strait. Very suspicious of that area, and I've been studying whales a lot. And look at this. In Wales, the constellation, talking about King Arthur. Now, all these kings are starting to add up. It's starting to be a big picture here. We don't know what the big picture is, but I want you guys to just see how in Wales, which I didn't even know King Arthur was like, oh no, I'm talking about Wales, Alaska, but who knows? All right, anyway. So basically, the Lyra constellation was often depicted as a vulture or an eagle with a lyre in its wings or beak. And it means falling eagle or vulture, okay? Now, actually in Wales, Alaska, they are terrified, and in Wales, of birds because pretty much the only bird that is not mentioned as someone that wants prey is pretty much the dove. It's the only one that does not like try to have prey. So, and if you read their mythology, they're deathly afraid of birds for some reason. They were attacked by birds constantly, like the huge birds that would eat them, apparently. So I really think this is in a further prehistoric time. Okay, so here we have the actual constellation depicted as such. Now, this looks a lot like the American seal, if you ask me. If you ask me. Now, the Lord had given me a vision about George Washington not too long ago, like maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, with a pyramid and a third eye. And I wonder why. So, I mean, look at this. So this was the original, one of the original emblems. I mean, come on. Do you see this? And this is just evil, whatever it has in its mouth. That looks like a star of the Chaldeans, or a flower of the Chaldeans. And that's actually really evil. Yep, so as you can see, this is what is depicted. And if you go here, you can see that this is what is depicted. You have a lot to choose from, okay? Now, let's look at I do want to see the motto. Let's go to America. Now, you know the devil likes to completely he likes to turn everything upside down and on its head. Americans used to read from right to left, and now we read from left to right. And like, he has just completely changed everything. Like everything. Good is bad, bad is good. Don't even get me started. So let's go to Wikipedia. All right, so here we got, now here's where I know that it's a dang lie. It makes me want to say bad things. So you see this New Worlder. What frustrates me the most is that they always say that the population has a higher What? This one doesn't show it. I'm actually shocked. Usually it will show yeah, I don't see it. It usually shows like how many Christians there are, how many everything there is, right? So yeah, I wanted to go down to the etymology, and they have etymology on here. But they lie so bad. Two-dimensional globe, recorded in term. I'll get into this on a later date. That's actually really interesting because I have my 2 cents to put into that. Oh, look, a statue representing the Americas. That doesn't look very kosher there. See, in Honduras, all the buildings that were built. Yep, Christopher Columbus. Okay. Oh, they're starting to change things now. They are really starting to change things. I'll be back. Okay, so here we go. This is Strong's G2218. And it means yoke and a pair of balances. As slavery, a burden, bondage, drought, or cattle. Slavery. A yoke, even in Christ's commands, it's just terrible. A pair of scales or balances. So that's what they have on their symbol. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, there's no other way to do it, but see, undertakings. They could say whatever they want, but no. So now, when you type in US, this is what I was trying to show you guys. Why would they want to keep a nation so suppressed? When you type in US, this is what shows up. Greek, Emmanuel. God is with us. Same name, God of Christ. And then in Hebrew, Emmanuel. With us is God, name of child. Yep. That's what you get when you type in the US. And it's really helpful when you read. I have to go to the doubles. The double, I just can't. Judah will pass Emmanuel your land with the wings stretching. And countries from far. Okay, so it says countries. Now this is in Hebrew, so that's why it's kind of weird. It's directly translating. It says countries from far, give an ear, and in broken pieces the people will be shattered, but broken, guard yourselves and your broken pieces, what I'm assuming it's trying to say. So, I mean, if I wanted to do a deep study, I could go in and do that. But it's saying that that come to nothing. So yeah, God is with us down there. So this is what's going on right now. You see this? Now and if you wanted to, you could have kept going and everything like that. Now let's see. So Matthew, I'm gonna go to Matthew. So so I'm gonna also show you guys that these kings really are adding up, and it's very strange indeed. So, and I already used this one, so I'm gonna use this one. So I'm gonna type in pilgrims. Did I spell that wrong? Really? Okay, so listen here. Now, the indigenous people, which are no longer indigenous, the backstory in America of just a couple tribes that did not give in to them. One of them, I believe, is the Hopi tribe, or Hopi, Hopi. They're one of the only ones that didn't give in to the people, right? But I just find this very interesting. Now, pilgrims does show up a lot more than these two times. I don't know why it does this to me. It's really frustrating, actually. But basically, the Indians claim that Columbus was not the first to come over, that the Romans came over, and that they tried to get them to stop worshiping God. And they would beat them, and basically they began to chain the women up because they knew that if the women and the children were chained up, I don't remember, they would chain up maybe the children or the women or something, and the men would come and follow. So then they would just get everybody. They tortured those people, and they tried to get them to denounce God and their whatever practices that they had. They'd watch real closely so that they could take over those practices. Now, we don't know the full story. I mean, we don't know everything, but basically they were told by whatever God, because I don't know yet. I'm not 100% sure. But they were told by their God, if it's the same God, I don't know, that if they did not obey him, then the white man would come and they would take everything from them. And I don't know, but in the Bible, what we see is that there were consequences to not following God's laws. And this looks pretty bad, okay? So it says, these all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them far off. And they were persuaded of them and embraced them and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. Okay? And it says, dearly beloved, I beseech you, strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts, which wars against the soul. So these are not the best examples. If I was to go deep into them, they'd probably make more sense. But there's Bible verses I've come across where it talks about literally like pilgrims and feasts, and things of that nature. I'm not going to be able to do that today because it's getting really late. But I'm going to have to find it. It was just like the other day I typed in something and it was the foxes. And I only had 2 scriptures come up when I've read it in many other scriptures. And it ended up being in Leviticus and Luke 9, which really frustrated me. Okay, so anyway, let's go into... now, this proves that... the Antichrist is gonna be a Jew. And I'm gonna tell you why. So it says, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte. Proselyte, that's the first time I've seen that word. Please don't judge. And when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. That sounds pretty dang bad, okay? And this goes on. It really does. But this one, and if you don't know what this word is, which I did not, no shame in my game, go in, check it out. So that means that these people are going from sea to sea and land to land. They're up to no good because they're trying to create this Antichrist. So basically, it means a convert, okay? A stranger, an alien, a newcomer. So one who has come over from a Gentile religion to Judaism, okay? So as we can see, we see that going on right now. Jews are Jews by the people, by being the people of God. And they're not Jews because they decide to convert or anything obnoxious like that. Look, and here we have the rabbis. Here we go. Of course, they want to put their own mix on it because they don't want to be given up. That's one thing you'll see. I've never seen a rabbi write ever. And right now we see I don't like that, okay? Because I don't like this scholar right here. I don't trust them. And then we have some type of philosophy. No, thank you. Okay. It's hard from. Okay, to Judaism. Judaism is evil. Okay? Rabbis distinguish two classes of this. Now, I'm actually curious, so I'm going to do this. I'm sorry. I have to. Now, by the way, this language is no good. I don't know if I'll get anything, but I'm going to try it anyway. It's something I like to do. That's not the original letters. Oh, it means forbidden intercourse. Ooh. See, that's why you gotta look. Okay, I'm not gonna click on that because I know what that is, and it's evil. I really believe that's because if you don't know, Judaism or the Kabbalah, all these things, these are all incantations and spells. This Orthodox Jews and all that, they all study witchcraft. That stuff's no good. Where was that? Let's check out this one right quick. Judaism and what? Why isn't it getting the whole thing? Really? Oh, I got it that time. Copy. Paste. See what happens. To keep. Okay, so I do know a little bit of Latin, and it looks like it is a secret. It looks like secretive. Yep, see this stuff? This stuff is evil. I don't know what they're trying to say about Barack. They don't like him. They call him a liberal. So Barack's not the Antichrist. They don't like him. Yeah, I'll go into detail on a later day. I'll do my studies. I'm scared to click on things, when I'm just live like this, So let's do I have any more scriptures? All right. So after I did this study, I thought it was very interesting because the Lord gave me this Bible verse. It said, and it came to pass, I don't remember what number it was. It was a number. It said, and it came to pass as he sat at meat with them, which means to get ready to eat, he took the bread and blessed it and brake and give to them. And their eyes were opened and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. Okay? And it says, and they said one to another, did not our hearts burn within us while he talked with us by the way, and while he opened us the scriptures? So Jesus opened their eyes with the bread. What does that mean? That means that the Holy Spirit is being poured, okay? This is what this means. These people, the people that can see, not everyone's gonna understand everything. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that if you don't understand like I do, then you're not going to heaven. I'm not saying any of that stuff. All I'm saying is that everyone has their own gifts. And my mission is to share with you what I find out. Okay? Take the knowledge and do with it what you will. I'm just here to report. Just don't shoot the messenger. That's all. Okay? So, last but not least, very interesting. I wanted to talk about the stars. So I'm going to go into a briefing about stars. I don't want to go deep into it today. But basically, very interesting dialogue between God and Job when he talks about the stars. Because when you type in stars and you start to read line upon line and precept upon precept, you start to come to the realization that stars are people or something of that nature. Stars are, I want to say the Holy Spirit or the Spirit, some spirit. It's a spirit. So I'm going to assume it's a Holy Spirit. Because at the end of time, it says that, the stars, 1/3 of the stars are going to fall. Now, it could be used as many different, like, reasons. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be, it definitely is, like, most likely the devil falling. But I'm going to read line upon line and precept upon precept to really get an in-depth understanding, because I haven't gotten there yet. But if you read down and you read all of the scripture regarding stars, especially with baby Jesus, with the northern star and it going down and resting on the baby and then going into the baby, I believe is what it said. That's when I really got a fuller understanding. However, I am beginning to suspect something. So I want to be absolutely sure before I say anything. Because with this Emmanuel and Jesus, something suspicious there, because it uses the name Jesus twice to like reinstate Jesus, but it uses Emmanuel once. And I really have to get a deep understanding of Emmanuel, because Emmanuel says God is with us, and it doesn't say Jesus Christ. Okay, it doesn't say Jesus Christ. Like, you know what I mean? So it could be a parallel. It could mean that God is with us, and at the same time, maybe that's where the devil's throne is. I'm starting to see a kind of a pattern with the north and with the east. But I don't want to say anything until I get it down packed, because I don't want to cause any type of confusion, because that does not add to the kingdom, that takes away from the kingdom. So I will pray about it. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about one more thing. The Lord has had me going into basically mythology, and because there is some truth to all things. And in this, I just want to see what's going on, because I'm seeing with these stars, and I'm seeing with certain things and dreams that people are having, that these and just with the Bible in general, that there's hintings to these multiple kings and these multiple kingdoms and things of that nature. And then after seeing that one video of what that man said, just linked it all together, which it was actually really funny, because what he said also coincided with something else that I saw today. I spoke about how mummies are being preserved, possibly to be brought back to life. And the reason why I said this is because every religion believes in reincarnation or some type of like resurrection of some sort. And mankind thinks that they can resurrect themselves. So they have a book of the dead that was created in Egypt, which I had no knowledge of until today. And this book basically it's demonic. It's about basically that astral projection stuff, and they believe in like your soul and your personality are two separate entities. They can't necessarily transfer the personality, but they can transfer the big soul into another being. It's just terrible. But I love you guys. Bye. Okay, guys, so that was really interesting. Actually, it said the Americas, which is very interesting, instead of the United States. Now, I'm going to be going into that. I'm going to show you guys some really cool stuff. Like, it's going to be so cool. Okay, so here's the mottos, right? In God we trust. See, we have many out of one. I don't know if you can read that. Can you read that? We have many out of one, which is the multitudes, right? And that's in Latin. And then here's Now our favorite undertakings. Okay. Now this is in the Bible. I'll show you. So to be under something means to be yoked or like slavery. Americans live in a false sense of freedom. We're told that we have freedom, but it's completely controlled. They have minds controlled. Okay, so look at this. Look at it. The I, you see the I? And this means the new order of the ages. Tell me that is not absolutely. And I went over the flag already. I went over these things already in the past. But basically, this is just is utter and complete defiance. It's a provoking of God. That is exactly what it is. Now, the red and white stripes and the stars and everything, I went over all that in an earlier video. What is this here? Okay, so now I'm going to be going over to New York, okay? Now, I haven't gone through that one yet, but this is kind of sick because this is basically a swastika and at the same time is a broken cross. So that's all that is. I want to show you New York's because New York, the Lord showed me this like today. Now, I already knew that there was obviously some like extreme red flags, like not some, like just an abundance of red flags just registered in my head, okay, when I saw this one. So pretty much what this is about, just because, you know, Freemasons are all about symbology or symbolics. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. Okay, so here we go. So we have the lady that's dressed in blue. That's usually a royal color. She has some type of staff in her hand. I'm assuming it might be a reed, but I have seen this in a Masonic lodge. The reason why I'm talking about New York is because little does everyone know that every single command around the world is held in New York. Okay? I think that's very suspicious. They make decisions in Jerusalem. They make decisions everywhere. United Nations is a complete and utter, just the most evil situation, which I haven't finished my study on that. I need to go back into that. Let me write that down. Because God had me on a goose chase with that and I forgot about it. But I've seen these in Masonic lodges. She looks like she's going out for like the Harry Potter cast with that thing. Don't know. You see the eagle on top of the world. That's already dangerous. You already know how that goes. You see the sun, sun worship. See how that goes. This just means Eureka, which I believe that there is just a falseness behind this definition because I can't find anything good. Now, here's where it gets good, okay? So we already know that the devil's doing his thing. We already know that someone is controlling everything, obviously with some type of witchcraft. But look at this woman's blindfolded, okay? And twins, by the way, because I always talk about twins. There's two boats, like, it's twins. Twins. So this woman here, she has on a blindfold. She has scales in her hand. She has a sword. So I'm assuming that obviously she's blind, or she has a veil over her. That she's obviously being unrightfully or unlawfully overcharged, or whatever the case be. And that our nation is blindly fighting. We have a false sense of pride. Okay? That's how they get you. That's how they hook you. Okay? They use camaraderie and solidarity to try to make their point and give you like this warm and fuzzy feeling, and it's false. Our nation was built upon false precepts and lies, and these lies are starting to come out now. So let's go over to the Bible verse that took me to that. So this is actually kind of funny story. It was yesterday. I was in the in the kitchen cooking or whatever, and I was listening to the Bible. And as I was listening to the Bible, I was listening to King James Version, and in Second Peter's, basically, it's a dumbass. So I found it comical, but I was like, let me look into this. Let me see if that really means what, what people use it for. So dumb means basically mute, deaf. And ass actually means under a yoke. Remember I told you under means something? Under a yoke, a beast of burden, okay? It says the ass was the common animal used by Orientals in their journey for carrying burdens. Okay, that's terrible. They think of us like animals. That's how they treat the people. Everyone's enslaved. It means under. You see this? Under. Like original under. So trying to go in here because I had it went more into detail somewhere. Somewhere it went more into detail. Where did you go? I'll be back with you.